Hey everybody, this is D Hunter, bringing another action figure review. Today, we're going to look at the McFarlane DC Multiverse Captain Atom action figure. This is a gold label figure and is a Walmart exclusive, at least here in the US. I ordered this figure from the CMD store. It's a Canadian-based website, and they tend to get the gold label figures a lot earlier and hassle-free than here in America. Gold label simply means an exclusive, and this guy's an exclusive to Walmart, which is the absolute worst kind. So I'm really happy to check on my list and not have to hunt them down. So let's take a look at the packaging. As you can see at the top, 22 moving parts, McFarlane Toys, ages 12 plus, DC Multiverse, Gold Label Collection, DC Multiverse, Captain Atom. Here's the package, a couple of energy effects, and then the display stand and collector's card. One side of the box, Captain Atom for the New 52, other side, Captain Atom. I think it's interesting from the New 52, as he didn't have a traditional look in there, at least not most of the time, so I'm happy they went with a more traditional looking Captain Atom. At the bottom, got a bunch of credits. There's his barcode, in case that helps anybody. And on the back side, here's Captain Atom posed up. This is more how he looked in the New 52, and I'm really happy the figure doesn't look like this. So with no further ado, let's open him up. Alright, now that I get this figure out of the package, here he is with all his accessories laid out. He has two energy effects, display stand, and a collector's card. But before we take a look at those, let's talk about and check out Captain Atom. Captain Atom's real name is Nathaniel Atom. He was part of an experiment where there was a capsule designed to travel to other dimensions. When it was activated, the capsule imploded, destroying Nate at a subatomic level. He reappeared and realized he was a living nuclear reactor. The military tried to use him, but he refused and became a hero known as Captain Atom. Now, I think it's awesome, the version of Captain Atom they gave us. On the box, it says New 52 Captain Atom. Captain Atom looked pretty weird, the New 52, as a whole like this, but he had sort of a mohawk thing going on. The picture on the back of the box is the New 52 Captain Atom. The picture on the collector's card is a New 52 Captain Atom. But what they gave us appears to be a pre-New 52 Captain Atom, which is much better in my book. I'm not super familiar with Captain Atom as a character. My most experience with him is from Batman, Superman, Public Enemies, the animated film, and in that he was kind of a dick. I get the impression he's much more than that in the comics. But it's really cool to add another member of the Justice League in their traditional, normal look. This guy's done on the Blue Beetle Booster Gold body. I just reviewed the Flash yesterday on the exact same body, and it's a pretty good, generic, all-purpose body. Captain Atom probably should have been a little bigger. He's a huge, giant, Superman-ish type character from what I recall. I think he should have done a bigger body. Still, if this is what it takes to get a normal-looking Captain Atom, I'm all for it. It actually looks pretty nice. So let's take a closer look. I start with his face here, and this is what I'm talking about. Normal-looking hair. Pretty much the guy is completely silver, black around the eyes. Eyes are white. Stern expression looks good. He's got the sort of atomic symbol or something on his chest. Like I said, this is that same Blue Beetle Booster Gold body. Only thing that bothers me about the body is how the abs look. They look really good, but it's kind of odd how the top two stick out so far. It looks just fine when they're like this, but how often do you have them posed like that? Not very often. I feel like that's where it sort of lines up. But like this, it just looks a little odd, like they're just sort of on top of the other abs. I don't know. Beyond that, I have no problem with the body. His diaper looks a little odd. The transition between the diaper part and the chest, it's horrible. Just looks weird, bad, bland, fake. You can see that gap when you look down at it. Kind of a fail on his diaper. It just doesn't sort of match the rest of him. It's I don't know, a different material. It's kind of noticeable. Double jointed elbows, double jointed knees. As a whole, he looks good, kind of basic. But I appreciate getting a normal version of Captain Atom for the DC collection. Bring on more characters and heroes like this. And a closer look at his face and head sculpt. It's damn near perfect. Great head sculpt for Captain Atom. No problems here. Now let's check out his accessories, and let's start off with the boring stuff. Here's his display stand. It's a black perfect circle. We've seen it with every single McFarlane DC figure. Very thin, very basic. Now for his collector's card. As you can see, it's an image of Captain Atom from the New 52. And it doesn't look like this figure. His hair, way different. I actually do not like the New 52 look at all, so I'm really happy they didn't go with that. Captain Atom from the New 52. On the backside, there is a description. If you want to pause that, you can read now. Now for his energy effects, he has two of them. One's a little bit larger than the other. They're both cast in a semi-transparent material. Got a little bit of sort of a blue or gray tint to it. They're going to wrap around his hand. Here's Captain Atom about to punch you with the energy effect. It's like doing a super punch. And here he is with the other effect on his left hand. To me, he could be sort of touching something or just has energy on his hand. I could also see him sort of in a flight pose using his hand like that. And if you wanted to use both the energy effects at the same time, that's an option too. Now they've taken a pretty good look at both the figure and his accessories. Now let's check out his height. From bottom to the top of his head, he's standing at right at 7 or 7.1 inches tall, which can translate to about 18 centimeters. Now the line has a bunch of figures of different various shapes and sizes. I personally think this is about the right height for the figures, but some of the figures have gotten bigger and bigger and bigger. We have some Batman figures like Hush that's 7.4 inches tall, noticeably just overall bigger. I wish 7.0 was sort of the baseline for the entire line, but it just seems like we have sort of a small, medium, and large scale going on here. A little inconsistent. Now for his articulation. Starting with his head here. Of course, you can rotate from side to side. He can look up, not too much, but at least a little bit. Can get him into a decent flight pose. Can tilt his head from one side to the other. Shoulders, a ball joint, goes out way more than 90 degrees, up, down, around, all that good stuff. He's got a butterfly joint between shoulder and chest, increasing the range of motion and covering the large gap there. Bicep cut below that. Double jointed elbows. His wrist can rotate, and it's hinged as well. Now the wrist, it looks better with the pin on the outside. I'd assume it's meant to be with the pin on the inside, so the outside doesn't show it, but it just definitely looks better with the pin on the outside as far as the flow. Torso, ball joint, rotate around, forward and back. Another one is waist, rotate around, forward and back. Between the two, very wide range of motion in his torso area. Helps really get him in those flight poses like that. Legs, complete as splits. Not a ball joint, McFarlane style hip joints. Rotation, it's not too bad on this guy. Go forward about that much, back not at all. Double jointed knees, then his ankle, forward and back, rotation, tilt, rock, and of course, articulation. Here's a look at Captain Atom flying through the sky with his fists full of energy and a side view of him flying. Now let's check him out next to some other action figures. Normally, I would start off by comparing with some other Captain Atom figures, but this is my first one. My collection is predominantly Batman related, and I passed on the previous Captain Atoms, but I'm getting all the McFarlane figures, so another DC hero to add to the Justice League roster. Let's start off by checking them out with some of the McFarlane DC Multiverse figures. I just reviewed this Flash yesterday. These two figures use the exact same body, only difference is different head, different diaper, and then the boots are a little bit different on the Flash. It's a nice general base body buck. The only thing that bothers me is the abs on the top. They shouldn't have sculpted the two top abs on the top part of the torso. It just looks weird in most of the poses. Still, look at this. Traditional Captain Atom, traditional Flash. This is the kind of stuff that I want more of by McFarlane. Yeah, keep the weird stuff coming, but give us more of this, and not just in the gold label form, please. Now the body that Captain Atom uses is typically referred to as the Blue Beetle Booster Gold body, as it was first introduced in that 2-pack. It's a very nice, basic, all-purpose generic body. I look forward to seeing more stuff done on it. I mean, I'm not encouraging reuse necessarily. I'm not saying I want a whole bunch of it, but these three figures look quite different, and I think it works very well. Captain Atom probably should be a little bit bigger, though. All 5 of these figures all share the same base body or buck. Deadman is probably the most different, as he's got that large collar and exposed torso. It's not a bad body, and it works. These figures all look quite different. They look good, and they're all in their normal, basic iterations, and I really appreciate that. The next figure on this body is going to be the traditional-looking Riddler, and I think he looks absolutely fantastic. I mean, look at this. Nightfall Batman, allegedly New 52 Captain Atom, and Flashpoint Flash. 3 traditional-looking DC heroes. Could be from the 90s, 2000s. They're in their normal, iconic looks, and all 3 of these scale up perfectly next to each other. I wish the entire line was like this. I want more of this from McFarlane, please. Here's Captain Atom, next to the Atom. And here's Captain Atom, next to a couple versions of the Atom Smasher. Now let's check them out next to some other recently released McFarlane DC Multiverse figures. Here's Captain Atom next to the DC vs. Vampires Vampire Superman. These are both gold label Walmart exclusives. They're more or less in the same wave together. Walmart exclusives tend to drop in pairs of two, and even though these are completely unrelated, these are the two most recent ones. I personally am not aware of any sightings of these at the US yet. Like I said, I ordered mine from the Canadian website, CMD Store. I'll drop a link in the description below. Still, happy to save me the hassle of hunting at Walmart, my least favorite. Walmart exclusives are pretty much my kryptonite. And here he is, next to the previous couple Walmart exclusives, Vampire Joker and Beast Boy. Then, next to the previous wave of Walmart exclusive figures, Vampire Batman and Eradicator. Now, here's a prime example of what I'm talking about. The scale not consistent between the line. I love this line, love it to death, but Hush Batman is way too big. Captain Atom does not look right next to him. And Eradicator kind of almost seems like he's between Hush Batman or Vampire Batman and Captain Atom. I don't have too much of a problem with Captain Atom and Eradicator. Yeah, I feel like Captain Atom should be a little bigger, a little buffer, bulkier, kind of like Eradicator is. And yes, they probably could have done on the Infected Superman buck, and I'm happy they didn't. But there's no denying that Vampire Batman is way too big compared to the rest of the line. Here's Captain Atom, next to the Dark Knight's Metal Alan Scott Dread Lantern. Now this figure is a gold label figure. Gold label simply means it's an exclusive figure. Captain Atom is exclusive to Walmart. I'm not sure where the Dread Lantern is exclusive to. I don't think that information has been announced yet. I got him from the CMD store as well. And here he is, next to some recent Target exclusive gold label figures. We have the Flashpoint, Aquaman, Project Superman, and Flash, Sinestro Batman, Jokerized Dark Detective Batman, Impulse, and Deadman. Then, next to the goofy head sculpt Rebirth Superman versus Ultraman 2-pack. And now, next to most recent Batman wave, we have the Nightfall Batman, Batman Incorporated Batwing, and the Batman Reborn Two Faces Batman. Here's Captain Atom, next to the Big Bad Toy Store exclusive, black and white accent version of Superman and Flash. And here he is, next to some McFarlane Toy Store exclusive gold label figures. We have Superman in his Unchained Armor Patina variant, Kyle Rayner Blue Lantern, and Dick Grayson Robin. Then, next to the fifth wave of Page Punchers, this is a Batman-themed wave, fighting the Frozen. We have Batman, Robin, Batgirl, and Mr. Freeze. There's a Platinum Chase variant of the Batgirl out there, and I'm on the hunt for her. And now, next to the entire Flash movie wave, here's Captain Atom, next to the Titans wave, Collect-a-Build Beast Boy. And here he is, next to the two most recent McFarlane Mega figures, Fulcrum Abominus and Calabac. Then, next to the Arkham City Riddler and the Arkham Knight Earth 2 Batman skin. And now, next to Shazam and Wonder Woman from Shazam Fury of the Gods. Here's Captain Atom, next to the fourth wave of Page Punchers. This is an Aquaman-themed wave. We have Aquaman, Aqualad, Black Manta, and Ocean Master. And here he is, next to the Dark Knight Trilogy wave, Collect-a-Build Bane from the Dark Knight Rises. Then, next to the Dark Knight's Metal Gladiator Batman and the Kingdom Come Armored Batman. And now, next to the Duke Thomas Signal, Con-El Superboy, and both versions of the Jay Garrick Flash. And finally, next to the previous Batman comic wave, we have the Hush Batman, both versions of the Nightfall Catwoman, both versions of the Rebirth Mr. Freeze, and the Infinite Frontier Joker. Now let's check him out. Next is some action figures from different various companies, so we can see how he fits in, both scale and style-wise, in case you have no lines you can mix him with. Since he's a McFarlane toy, they're typically the 7-inch scale. I'm going to start off my comparisons with some of the larger action figure lines I collect, and work my way smaller. But first, let's check him out with some of his McFarlane Toys brothers. In front of you are 5 different action figure lines, all from McFarlane Toys, all 7-inch scale. Then, next is more McFarlane Toys. These are from different various video game properties. And now, with some Jack-specific wrestling figures, here he is, next to another one of my wife's candles. This one says Blackberry and Sage, limited edition. I'll have to keep an eye out for the Platinum Chase variant. And here he is, next to some DST, or Diamond Select toys. Then, next to some DC Direct and DC Collectibles figures. And here he is, standing with some NECA figures. Then, with some Mattel wrestling figures. And now, next to some Jazzwares AEW wrestlers. And here he is, next to some Mezco 112 collective figures. Then, next to some Mattel DC Universe Classics and Multiverse figures. And here he is, next to some Makevex figures. Then, with some Hasbro, Marvel Legends, and here he is, next to some SH Figure Arts action figures, and finally, next to some Jazz Force Fortnite figures. So overall, it's a very nice Captain Atom figure. I'm happy they made the version they did, a normal, traditional Captain Atom. He looks almost perfect. I feel like he should be maybe a little bit bigger, bulkier. The diaper also looks pretty bad. But I'm happy it's a regular version of Captain Atom, not a Dark Knight's Metal version or whatever else they can come up with. If I'm going to have a Captain Atom in my collection, I'd rather have the regular one. They're onto something with this body, but it does have a couple of problems. Mainly just the top two abs look a little bit weird. His accessories are pretty cool. The sculpted paint job are excellent. Articulation is everything you'd expect from a modern McFarlane DC Multiverse figure. The diaper bothers me, and the size, not even that much. If I were to rate this guy, probably going to give him a 7 out of 10. I want to give him higher, but just that diaper, it bothers the hell out of me. So this is D Hunter. Thank you guys for watching the video. If you liked the video, press like below. If you have anything you want to say with the video, add it to the comment section. If you want to see additional action figure reviews from me, press subscribe. I do appreciate when you do that. Once again, this is D Hunter. Thank you guys for watching this video, and I'll talk to you guys real soon.